million ways to go here. I know you love the energy of McConnell. If you want to start there, that's fine. What struck you about the manner in which the home team won this game?
Well, one, the bench came in that first half. I thought they the ones that set the tone for the Pacers and got them back into the game. You talk about T.J. McConnell, but I thought Obi Toppin was huge. I thought those guys who came in with their physicality, because the first unit didn't have it, right? They caught themselves down 8-9 points, and all of a sudden the bench came in and gave them a spark from a physicality point. But I was looking at this, and Tyrese Halliburton, right? Like, I've been asking him to be aggressive. And tonight I thought he did that. Attacking downhill, shooting his jump shots, almost, a 20-plus point triple-double. That's the Tyrese Halliburton we want to see. That's how you protect your house. When you've got a guy like SGA who's been averaging over 35 in this series, he coming into your crib, this is how you make him take his shoes off at the front door.
Well, they did, but it was a game where, as we were talking in the break, neither team ever felt like they had it, and then game like this is going to be won or lost in those last moments, and the Pacers were able to grab it. What struck you, Legs?
I think first thing, they got some stuff accomplished tonight they could not do in Oklahoma City. Right? Two things. One, they unlocked themselves offensively. The pace, we talk about it all the time. What does that mean? It means playing early into the clock. They did that the entire first half. So the tone was set that now their offense had flow to it. And this is the offense that we recognized all season. It's the flow we recognized through most of the playoffs. We didn't see it those first two games in OKC as they were adjusting to the Thunder. So that, to me, was the first thing. The second thing was they did a much better job at the point of attack on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They were much smarter about where their body positioning was. They blitzed him more. They made him give it up. He played in more traffic tonight and navigated smarter defensive schemes for the first time. It wasn't easy. He had to work tonight for everything he got. I thought he looked like he was really playing in a scrimmage in those two games at OKC. So those are the two things the Pacers were able to do tonight they could not do in games 1 and 2.
Outrageous difference off the bench. You mentioned it, Perk. 49-18, and Benedict Mathurin, who goes for 27, and just so couldn't be more impressed with a young man who has demonstrated that he can do this on a nightly basis, but had a stretch there. What do you have, 15 points over like 5 playoff games? You could get out of sour and lose your composure. He didn't do that at all, and he was big tonight. Do you think, Perk, let me not do you think. What do you think now at 2-1 about the direction that this series goes? The Pacers have the lead.
I think we're going to be heading back to OKC on Monday with the series tied, okay? And here's why. We know one thing about OKC. They will bounce back. We know that's a prideful group. And you mentioned SGA, and I'm going to mention him and J-Dub, right? Because you want your young franchise guys to take you home on the road. But this was also another learning moment for them. Just because they call your play doesn't mean it's your shot. Both of those guys had 10 turnovers combined. I'm scratching my head because I'm watching Jalen Williams, J-Dub, off when SGA went to the bench, and he was trying to get downhill. And I'm saying to myself, these guys are open in the corner, right? And all of a sudden, you see them get these turnovers, uncharacteristic turnovers, especially by SGA. They have to clean up that area as well. Lastly, Chet Holmgren was having it his way in that first half.
13 in the first quarter.
I got to say, man, respect to Miles Turner. You way to bounce back in the second half and guard your yard. I thought he did a great job of completely taking Chet out of the game in the second half, whether that was closing out on the perimeter, whether that was meeting him at the basket. Miles Turner was a grown man. I thought Rick Carlisle was going to have to make a decision and say, I can't play him. I got to roll with Obi Toppin. He answered the call. And when you talk about being last but not least, you got to give credit to guys like Pascal Siakam and a guy like James Johnson that's on the bench. Because those are the guys that keep him engaged and keep him ready and keep him for moments like this.
17 turnovers tonight, to the point you're making from the Thunder. That's a very, very high number for them. Credit to the Pacer defense. Credit to the defense that Turner played late. A couple of shots blocked on Holmgren. And this Indiana team, there's a wry smile from Coach Carlisle. And if you've been backing them in these games, you've been stacking cash because they were a 5.5-point dog tonight. It's the 9th win as an underdog in this playoff run. Think about that. They won 14 games, 9 of them as an underdog, which is tied for the second most by any team in the last 35 years. Only the Heat in 23, who fell to the Nuggets in the finals. had more. As promised, Tim Legler is back here courtside during the playoffs, particularly the finals. Everybody out there waiting for this touchscreen. You got a little 2-for-1, and you were talking with Perk about the defense that the Pacers did on the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. What can you show us here that made it so difficult for him?
Different level of resistance completely. And he got loose a little bit toward the end of the first quarter, and I was like, man, they really didn't make the adjustment yet. You saw it as the game went on, so let's get into it right away. This ball comes up the floor, and you can see this is late in the game. So you're starting to get into winning time, and you know what Oklahoma City is going to try to do. And you look where they love to put Shai. Now, this is one of their favorite sets. They get this ball to the top to Hartenstein, and this is one of the things that they're always going to be trying to do. Bring Shai up here off of one screen and then a dribble handoff. So in essence, it's 2 screens. But take a look here at what he's getting from Nembhard. I mean, he's already playing behind him. So he's going to trail on that hip all the way around, and it basically blows up the dribble handoff. So as we play it, he comes up, he can't get the basketball. Tremendous effort and want to. Now, as they go to plan B here, look where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander eventually has to catch this basketball. I mean, he's all the way extended out here. He's beyond 40 feet. You're going to get a brush screen here. The key to the whole thing, I want you to watch right here. It's Tyrese Halliburton and his ability to play center field and keep the ball in front of him. They had a very hard time with this at Oklahoma City, so as we play it, now it comes off. You see Nembhard fighting over the pick. Halliburton in perfect position, and when you get to this point right here, Shai loves going to that step back, but you've got 3, and it is walled off. And what does that end up leading to? Play it. A turnover. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander rarely gets off balance in that situation. So much traffic, shuffles the feet. And then this next one, Scott, this is the execution down the stretch. I thought this was the biggest shot of the game. Tyrese Halliburton, because he was so aggressive throughout the game, now he's going to have a situation where he's going to basically occupy 3 guys. And if he's playing passively or if he's not engaged offensively, I don't know you need this much traffic. But instead, that's exactly what he's going to get. As he comes off here on this ball screen, watch Miles Turner slide right down the lane, and that means on the weak side, a decision has to be made right here by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Do you pick up the diving Turner, or do you stay home with Nesmith? As we play it, comes off the ball screen, Turner with the hard dive, and this is just a perfect decision by Tyrese Halliburton. And you can see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right here. I mean, his eyes are in the lane.
I thought the pass was going to go to Turner.
And everybody in the building did. And that's what Halliburton, when he is playing his best and he's a dual threat, these are the kind of plays he makes. He jumps in the air. I guarantee his eyes went to Turner. It froze Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And as we play it out, look where this ball is delivered. Watch when Nesmith catches that. He didn't have to move his hands, his feet, no weight movement whatsoever, because Shai's still in the area. He catches it, goes up, play it out, releases it. This takes it from 5 to 8. I can't even tell you the significance of getting that thing to 8 with 3 minutes to go. That feels a lot different. Missed that shot, 5-point game, OKC with the ball. Who knows how it plays out? So I thought their execution down the stretch was phenomenal. Halliburton's aggressiveness set the whole thing up.
And there's so many layers to this because you're showing what Halliburton did, but give credit to Nesmith. As a guy who made your living shooting the basketball, he had 0 threes. It's a finals game. There's 3 minutes left. He caught it in the pocket, but it's bottoms, and it pushes the lead to 8. There are all these little things that all in the end add up to this. As you were showing the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just some interesting numbers about what they did defensively. Contested on 18 of 20 field goal attempts. He was doubled 14 times, picked up in the backcourt 19 times, had 8 different defenders who ended up being the final defender with switches and all of that. So they're throwing everything they've got at him after 72 points over the course of the first 2 games. He still had only, in parentheses, 24. By the way, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has just sat down at the podium. Back to some more thoughts from Legs.
Yeah, they were aggressive. They were higher on the pick and rolls. They really were, just like Coach said, more aggressive, more forceful. Yeah, we gotta, starts with me, but we gotta apply that pressure back. Especially if you want to beat a team like that on the road, you got to be the more forceful team for sure.
First row here on the left.
Shai, you guys go in the fourth quarter up 5, then you're only able to score 18 in the quarter. You only got 3 shots up. What got you guys stuck in the mud, and what kept you from going individually in the fourth?
It's hard to say, it's hard to say because I don't see it from like a bird's eye view right now. After watching film, we'll definitely have a better idea. But they were aggressive. They were heavy in the crowd. I'm not sure how many points they had, but it felt like that when they scored, like we're going against a set defense, and it's always harder against a set defense. So off the top of my head, those are a few things, but I'm sure there's probably more that we can weave through once we watch film.
First row here on the right.
Joel Lorenz with Oklahoma. And Shai, it was almost too many winning plays to count on the Indiana side. It felt like in the fourth quarter, Obi's put back the steal on the inbound. Like, what was maybe the most frustrating part of the way the fourth quarter unraveled?
I'm not too sure. We just, like you said, it felt like they won all the 50-50 plays. They executed on both ends of the ball. When you give those two things up, and no matter what quarter, you're probably going to lose the quarter. Especially, and then it goes back to especially on the road in a hostile environment, there are crowds behind them. So, yeah, we got to take care of those things if we want to come out of game forward with a dub.
You had an additional thought, Legs, on the way he was guarded.
Absolutely. And Rick Carlisle would come up with this after he saw the film from the first two games. But what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is talking about with the physicality, what specifically did I see differently? I thought in games 1 and 2, he was allowed to pick. All of the options were on his menu offensively because they were squared up to him so he could go either direction, which means the help defender was very confused about where to be. I thought they did a better job tonight of shading the ball to one side or the other, dictating, we're going to corral you by sending you to one hand or the other. And it wasn't always the same hand, but that tells your help defender where to position themselves. As a result, he wasn't just blowing up those blitzes out near half court the way he did in OKC, where he's downhill with two guys behind him, and now he's getting to that sweet spot that he loves in the lane. He just wasn't really able to find that freedom in that space. He felt Indiana's pressure and presence the entire game. He just talked about it. I thought the adjustment was fantastic on the part of Rick Carlisle and the Pacers.
You know what I'm saying when I say you have a sentence here, okay? If Oklahoma City wins on Friday, then it's a best 2 out of 3, and they've got 2 of the 3 at home. What has to happen? What do they have to adjust to make that happen?
Yeah, I think that they've got – I didn't see their pick up the ball pressure as far up the floor this time. I thought Halliburton got loose on them in the first half of this game. They've got to get back to what they did to them in Oklahoma City.
NBA